The Lincoln cent is the longest tenured coin in U.S. history. 115 years and still kicking. How many more years? Don't know. Is 2025 the last year? Don't know. I do know they have some coins out there dated 2025. But I digress. Where did we start making that small cent? Well, the big series was, well, the one right before, known as the Indian head cent, right? We all love them, 1859 through 1909, 51 years. And tonight, the good news is this. We not only have a collection, they approved an easy pay program so we can all dive in. Let's have some fun. So as I referenced, the large cent was the first coin made by the U.S. Mint. That was the size of a $50. And when you get into the 1850s, we start looking at the fact that it costs more to make a 1 cent piece than the actual copper value. So they decided to shrink it. And for 2 years, they put out this coin known as the Flying Eagle cent, right? The Flying Eagle cent. People loved it. And then they said, okay, time for this series. So we introduced Lady Liberty wearing an Indian head bonnet, right? Well, we nicknamed it shortly thereafter the Indian head cent. And it stayed. Again, 51 years is the time frame. Our collection tonight is the last 30 years. Now, the other unique thing about the Indian head cent series, copper in general at this time in history, is only Philadelphia made coppers. No other mint, period. That didn't change until 1908 when San Francisco made the first Indian head cent, 1909, and then the Lincoln cent, it was P's, D's, and S's, if you recall. But tonight we have an opportunity for a collection of the last 30 years. So we're looking at the years 1880 to 1909. All of these coins are Philadelphia coins, so they're all Philadelphia based. That is the price for the entire 30 years. Now if you take that and divide by 30, you're looking at $6 and change per Indian head cent. And that's the wow moment. Now, to make it even easier for people that would like to get in on collections like this, but it's not always the perfect time, they approved an easy pay program, which basically means for $189.95 divided by 5 shipments equals $37.99. Shipment number 1 will be the presentation box. It'll be a display diagram which shows you where all of them go. They are in order, but it makes it easier to look at the diagram and count the holes and punch, right, as they come in. And again, 30 coins over 5 shipments means there'll be 6 coins in each shipment. However it works for you as an individual, it's here tonight. We just love giving the opportunity when we can. Now, the other is the design change in the Indian head cent. We get asked this question often. When did the shield become part of the reverse and the wreath? And the answer is, that was year 2. Right? 1859 is the only year without the shield. So all 30 of these, the last 30 of the 51 years they made the Indian, are shield reverse. Hope that helps everybody. Coppers. When's the last time we had a copper cent here in the United States? In general. Any of you remember? 1982 was the year we moved from copper to copper-plated zinc, the coins we have today. That's a unique 7-piece set because we had half coppers and half zinc that year. We changed in mid-year. Lots of fun. And since that point forward, here's the other tidbit of coppers, right? We make silver coins, we make gold coins. We make collector coins in platinum and palladium, right? And then we have our basis, which is copper, which was in large cents, half cents, 2 cents, right? And then the 1 cent small, which is our current size cent. The copper, the 1 cent, is the only denomination that we cannot destroy. You can melt silver, you can melt gold, but you cannot melt copper cents. Kind of interesting, huh? Had to be something tied to the legislation. I don't think there's it just references it if there's no trigger of what, it just says no. If you go to a melter and have silver and say, I want to melt my silver, they can take it and they'll pay you based upon whatever the spot or reversal of spot is for the equation. You bring them coppers, they're going to say, can't do that. Can't melt them. Because of that, that means we can actually now find a few of these, because people do hang on to them a little bit longer. The challenge is always, though, finding the coin you need. And we would have had this on a couple of weeks earlier, but we got stuck with two coins, the 88 and the 94. For some reason, couldn't find good quality coins. Everything we kept on getting in, we were rejecting them. Want to see dates and legibility, average circulated condition, and we couldn't even find that. And that is our limitation. And my guess is if you're going to local shows, you probably see the same thing. Copper, because it's softer, wears fast. What coin does everybody use in circulation? Well, it's the smallest denomination. The smallest denomination we have today is a cent. At this time, it was the same thing. The half cent ended in 1857. The 2 cent, the 3 cent varieties ended in the middle of the 1800s. So when we got to these years, the small copper, this piece, was the workhorse coin of the late 1800s, the roaring Wild West expansion, and the early parts of the 1900s. So think about this. If you're on the wagon train, the Oregon Trail, let's just say, and you're moving west in the 1880s, this was the coin in your pocket. And it was the one that the average individual did have. But over the years, as we replace the old with the new, and in this case, it was the Lincoln replacing the Indian, which replaced the large cent. Every time a copper moves up, coppers disappear. Hard part is this, the colorization of copper. As you can see, we do our best to keep it all a homogeneous look and feel, a copper-ish look for a beautiful circulated coin. But we don't see that often either. A lot of people try cleaning them, which means they're really shiny, and old coppers aren't shiny. Crazy stuff. Want another tidbit that's kind of crazy? If you look at the mintage of the Indian head cent for the entire 51 years, right? That equals what we make in a year today. Yeah, we push out a lot of cents. But again, you get something that is 32 cents, you need 3 cents to clean it up. And even though credit cards and that type of payment structure is more common today, it still comes down to the coin of logic, the coin of transaction, which is the Indian. Guys, give me a 30-second clock, please. So again, join us, everybody. All 30, where my competition is north of 400. They don't have a single coin under $15. Any of these 30 years. Ours, $189.95 divided by 30 is $6 and change. Tonight, for the first time, we're introducing an easy pay option for those of you that would like. And again, how that works is you'll get the box with the first shipment. You'll get a display diagram in your first 6 coins. It'll tell you where to put them. And then monthly for 4 more months. If you choose to want to stay in, you will get the next 6 to make up the 30. It is a great opportunity to get, well, the workhorse of our, 140-year-old. Wow, huh? Just think about that. That's how far back these go. 140 years ago, and this was the coin in circulation. Thanks for listening. Got to be moving on.